Hi, I'm Bart Hanson. I'm the owner and lead instructor for CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record every Mondays at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time. If you enjoy the channel, please hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel. Turn notifications on and you will get an email link with this full episode. And if you want to submit to this show, take a look at the information in the description.
Hi, doing great. I was playing at the Gardens last night for a 5-5 game in LA, and it was a great game. There was this hand that came up against an older Asian guy.
Is that 5-5, 600 cap still, or is that right? 600 cap?
600 cap, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 All right, cool.
Very aggressive player. Totally surprised me. He got caught bluffing, losing his entire stack to a solid player earlier. So in this hand, the effective stack was 780 for my stack. He has me covered.
Okay.
Yep. So with the villain limp from under the gun +1.
Mm-hmm.
I raised with Jack 10, Jack clubs, 10 of clubs, suited. 230.
To where? From what position?
Middle position. So,
okay.
One player folded, and then I raised to 30.
Okay.
And then everybody, only the villain calls. The pot is 70 heads up.
See, and you have position. So one lamp, you raise to 30, call. Okay. Yep.
Yes. The flop came out 5 of hearts, 6 of spades, Jack of hearts. So the villain checked. I bet 45 into 70, and the villain check raises to 125.
So this is this is interesting, William, because these are really tricky spots when you don't have like a good kicker with your top pair. What I mean by that is that if you had an overpair here, like aces, kings, queens, something like that, I mean, it's just such a slam dunk continue, right? Because you will see a lot of these guys sort of overplay top pair as like a protection type of range. And I also, too, like a hand like ace jack would be a continue. We had a hand like this similar a couple of weeks ago. My issue here with like queen jack and jack 10 is that some of the hands that, or quite a few of the hands that we expect to see in this range, even though it could be some draws, you actually might get out kicked with the top pair type of raise. So I don't know if there's history with this guy, but I feel like in my live experience, I've been kind of screwed over in this spot like a lot. Like where I will call down and then the river will go check and the guy will turn over king jack and I'll be like, I knew this on the flop. You know what I mean? I knew that like this was part of, but I mean, obviously it's like it can continue with ace jack plus, but I don't know. I mean, didn't you say, wasn't there some history with this guy or something?
Yeah, there was. So he showed down a 9 of hearts, 9-2 of hearts, and won a huge pot with a full house. So once I saw that hand,
9-2 of hearts. 9-2 of hearts. I mean, but was he playing aggressively?
Yes, he was.
All right.
He limped before the flop, and everything went his way. Yeah.
All right. So you've got this sort of wild maniac, something like that. So, all right. So I assume you're going to call here.
Yeah, definitely calling. Yeah.
All right. So now the pot's 320, right?
Yep, 320.
Okay.
The turn is 9 of diamonds, and then the villain bets 125 into 320.
So the same bet.
Yeah, same bet.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, I mean, you're telling me that the guy's kind of off the wall, but I have shared a lot of secrets with Crush Live Poker subscribers over the years, you know, kind of like good for live games, attacking the field better, attacking limp pots, configurational moves. This one is another one of bread and butter, usually where if you think you're up against the guy that's somewhat clueless, which is basically going to be most of the player pool at the $5 capped level in these games, like at Hollywood Park, at Gardens. Usually a check raise followed up by the same bet when nothing really changes on turn. And nothing really has changed. This would be different if this would be a heart. Usually, although 7-8 does come in, but usually that makes me lean towards him still having like top pair. So like if I had aces, kings, queens, and I was maybe possibly a little bit shorter, I might even raise here. I might click up a raise and then bet the river. Or if you had smaller stacks, I might raise with like aces, kings, and just get it in. Or if I felt like I'm going to gamble, I'm going to call the bet, and then when the guy checks to me on the river, I'm just going to blast it, and I'm going to get called by a jack. That's what this looks like to me on paper. The problem with your hand, though, is that you don't beat some of those lines, like I said. Like, I would much rather have ace-jack here in your spot than jack-10, because I think there's a good chance that you might call here. The river's a deuce. It goes check, check, and you lose. I'm assuming that you're obviously just going to continue on here, though, because this guy's like a maniac, right?
Yeah, that was my read, and then the bet sizing is also, I thought it was a tell, because when he had that full house, he bet huge,
Right.
So that
Right.
was big. I think a call is reasonable here.
Right, but on the flip side of that, though, I agree with you, right? So you can say like, hey, like I don't think he's got like 5-6 or like jack-6 for jacks up, and I tend to agree with you. The problem though here is that if he had a draw, I feel like he would want to bet larger to move you off the hand. So this really starts to condense down to like jack, queen jack, king jack. You don't beat jack 9 now, although I think that we would have followed up with larger sizing. So you're beating like jack 8. You know what I mean? Jack 7, it's kind of a stretch.
Yeah.
But okay, so the pot's 570. All right, let's go to the river.
And the river was very interesting. It was the ace of spades, and then the pot is 570, and the villain bets 200.
Wow. Okay, so V1 bets 200.
Yes.
That's really, really interesting because what I don't. So there's a couple things going on here. Let's just say this. If I got here the way that you got here, I'm not folding, right? Because the whole reason why you're continuing on with the hand is that you think he's got some sort of misdraw. Occasionally you can get burned here. There's two things that could happen. Kind of just like a I don't know what the fuck to do type of play from your opponent that kind of burns you in this spot. Number one is somehow, and this is probably the rarer one, he has the nut flush draw and somehow bets it as a blocker bet. It's not like a value bet, like ace-4 hearts or something like that. It's just a blocker bet. And then number two, he's blocking like king jack or queen jack because he just doesn't know what to do. Normally, you won't see that. Normally, it will go check, check. So the reason why I think this becomes a slam dunk call is because the pot's 770 and it's 200 for you to call. You're basically getting 4-1. So you only need to be good 1 out of 5 times. And what I'm saying is that like, if it was more common that everybody blocked the river here with king jack, then you'd kind of be screwed. But you don't see that. Like I would only see, like if somebody played this line with king jack, I'd expect to see this bet on an offsuit ace like 1 out of 10 times, if that. So the fact that he's betting once in a great while, you're going to see some sort of weird jack get blocked here, some sort of weird nut flush draw get blocked on the river. You're going to call and you're going to lose. But it's rare, and it's rare enough where if you've made it here because you think the guy's a maniac and he's got enough bluffs with his draws, then I'm going to call here for sure. So what'd you do?
I end up calling, and then he showed 9-4 of clubs. So crazy.
9-4 clubs for what? What is that? Nothing.
The second pair.
Yeah, but it was it was Jack 5-6 on the flop, right?
That's right.
So Jack 5-6, so he didn't have anything on the flop, right?
Nope.
Right.
No, we check raised total nothing.
And then he turned a 9.
Yep.
And then he doesn't even know what he's doing at the end. Like I said, like that's obviously the guy's clueless. So I think you're right. I think you made the deviation correct on the flop, right? Like where you might fold the flop or fold the turn, you correctly recognize like this guy's out in Never Land, right? Like he's in outer space, so you're not going to fold top pair, which is fine. I'm just saying that, typically if this wasn't a guy that was such an outlier, I'm kind of saying that I've been burned in my poker career, like calling down with like a hand like Jack 10 on a Jack high board for a couple streets when the guy can play King Jack and Queen Jack that way. But I'm almost happy the guy bets the river because it sort of takes out a lot. It makes it almost like an easier call. Obviously, you would have just checked it back, right? If it had gone check.
Yeah, I would. Yes, I would.
But it's definitely a strange bet. Now, it's just kind of weird because if he had jammed the river, you probably would have been almost probably. I feel like you might have been forced to fold. It would have been a lot closer, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, thanks for the call, William Hung. I appreciate it. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA200. Click on the link right there.